Why is the aviation industry not included in the Paris Agreement?
Well, it's not included in the Paris Agreement because, in fact, it's something international. And at this stage, we have already some commitments with the IATA and the OACI. And remind also that we are the first industry that have already committed about reduction and compensation and all the things about the carbon offsetting and the reduction of emissions years and years ago. So today it's something international, and with the Green Cut in Clean Cut in the package for 55, the agreement has been taken between Europe and OACI that things will be shared, and everybody will inside their own perimeter commit and also do what they have done. So it's two things which are separate, but it's not easy to separate aviation, a part of the worldwide positions of the industry. And also, just as more philosophic question, emissions, compensations, gas reductions has to be taken at the planet level and not only within Europe. Europe is representing, in fact, a small part of importance, of course, of all the emissions, but it's not the major one. So it's an example, no doubt on that. It's what we have to do, for sure. But what is more important for us, and we have already been committed as an industry, to take it into account in a worldwide manner.
CORSIA is a scheme created by the industry and for the industry for carbon offset, but it is very ineffective and voluntary till 2027, then not even mandatory. Why?
I cannot agree on the fact that it is not ineffective. It's very effective, and maybe it's the most important effectiveness we can do as far as gas emissions are concerned in terms of commitment. There are two commitments that the air industry can do. First of all, is to reduce by e-SAF the noise, of course, and also the emissions. How can we do it? Having aircraft that are lighter and lighter, better performances, better engines, better routes, air routes to go from point A to point B. Everything we can do, and we can make a lot. When we are talking about SAF and e-SAF, SAF, I do not trust that SAF itself will be a solution. SAF can be a solution for cars, for maybe trains, but it's so difficult for us to fly an aircraft. You need a lot of kerosene and fuel. So why investigating in SAF, where what is important is not the SAF, it's the e-SAF. I mean, the synthetic fuel that we will get, but synthetic fuel, we will not get it before at least 50 or 60 years from now. Because we need energy, we need science, we need, for instance, nuclear power, which is fusion and not fission. That's the most important. We must invest there, not in SAF. In the meantime, what we can do, and what is more important, is offsetting our emissions. That's the reason why CORSIA is much more efficient than any other solution for the moment. What we have to do, a part of the fact that we need to be more efficient in terms of performance, as I said, in terms of the weight of the aircraft, the routes and so, all these things, we need also to take into account that we need fuel. Okay, and to be, okay, well, we compensate. And it's good for the planet, and compensation is also good for the other countries. And that's a point where I disagree with a lot of public languages in the industry where people are saying we need to invest in SAF, 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 in hydrogen and so and so. No, no. What we need to invest in, first, science for our aircraft. Second, at the same time, science in e-SAF and nuclear power, but the real nuclear green power, not the nuclear power as it is today. And in the meantime, of course, we have to pay to compensate. So invest in real carbon offsetting projects. That's what we have to do.
CORSIA is 100 times cheaper than industrial carbon capture, but 85% of offsetting didn't reduce any CO2, according to EU study. Why is the industry silent about this?
Well, it's something I do not understand also, because the most important is compensation, because I'm sure, again, that the solution is e-SAF. Why people are so want to have SAF or want to talk about hydrogen and so and so? No, because then it seems to be the easiest way. Maybe it is. Maybe you can have produce fuel, SAF fuel, but you would produce, let's say, 2, 3, 10%. But why investing, wasting your money in that type of project where the money needs to be put in science, in the real e-SAF?
I heard about French being ashamed of flying a plane. Is that true, and why?
See, I don't think so also. Interesting to see that today, not only in France, but at the worldwide level, we are at the level of passenger traffic, the same that it was in 2019.
Already?
First of all. Secondly, people want to travel. Take the example, I have a friend today that wanted to come yesterday from Paris to London. Impossible to have a single seat in the train. All trains are full. Full. So it's not only the aviation, but all the other means of transportation today, people want to travel. So when people are saying, well, it's a shame to travel and so, stop it and so. First, I'm not so sure it's true. And also, there is another figure which is interesting. There is, in a year, 4.5 million people, more or less, in 2019 and this same in this year, that are traveling. Okay? If you put apart all the businessmen, all the people that have to travel, like the families, for instance, our companies, which we are representing in our union, are from the islands. So for them, they have to, from time to time, to come and see the family in the mainland. If you put apart that, and if you are focusing only on tourism, it's only 1.5 million people, which means it's only a little 1/3 of 20% of all the traffic, which is only tourism.
Do you think the world overreacted with the pandemic measures?
No, it's not an overreaction. It's just taking into account that, well, the pandemic has been something crazy. I have never faced such a problem for an industry. I'm in the industry for more than 30 years, and that was the first time I saw something so dramatic. That was really, really difficult for us as managers of companies to really live and go through this pandemic. So things will maybe change, but hopefully air industry will stay strong. Can you imagine that we stop aviation? How can our guys from the islands come here or go from an island to another? How can we imagine just a second that also all the other countries that need to develop, Africa for instance, stop their traveling? How can we imagine that if we stop everything, the people who are in the rest of the world, where at the same time we are in a country who are so developed, could say, well, we stay home? Crazy. What we need, if we want to have a peaceful Earth, is to have people traveling, meeting, and of course travel with aviation.
If you come back to the decarbonization, what is the future of air transport? Electric, hydrogen, or else?
To be, first of all, is science on the aircraft. We know and we can improve the, for instance, the weight of the aircraft. We can improve our engines. We can improve aerodynamics. You will see I don't want to make too much publicity, but you will see amazing the Boeing 777 with the wings that can be removed and everything, just not only in order to make it more comfortable with turbulences, but also because of the fuel consumption. So we can make still a lot. Then the future again is the e-SAF, the real e-SAF, the synthetic SAF. You keep the carbon, you cut the atoms inside, and then you make a new e-SAF. And compensation. It's important. Compensation is good because we know that we have to invest, and it will help also the other countries, agriculture, and so to develop. So it's good, and it's the only win-win solution for everybody. And it's worldwide. So because the problem of gas emission is a worldwide problem. So investing in a farm in Africa, South America, China, and so, or Europe, you can do it. And we have to invest, and we are, us, airlines, ready to do it.
But the wide bodies are not to be electrified anytime soon, at least not until 25 years.
I don't think so. It's so big. So the electric...
the solution.
But, you know, part of the problem, we can cut the problem in pieces, okay? As we say in Africa, you know how we eat an elephant, piece by piece, okay? So it's the same. So let's start, and electrified aircraft, why not? But obviously it's good for short aircraft, regional aircraft. Of course, it takes space because you put your hydrogen tanks inside the aircraft somewhere, so you're reducing the space of the aircraft. That you can do with regional aircraft. Today, it would be crazy on long haul. Having also in mind that if you have hydrogen somewhere, for instance, in Europe or America, are you sure you have hydrogen suppliers in Africa, South America, China, Asia? No. So it will take time. So to me, I'm not so sure that we will be able to electrify the aircraft. And that's why, again, e-SAF is a solution. It will take 50, 60 years, okay? And in the meantime, offsetting.